Hey Internet, Eric here. I got a response to a tag video I'm going to do, and it's from my old buddy Roger over at channel Donstar, who I've talked about a million times, who I've done unboxing videos from at least 100 times, and I've said this a zillion times. I'll put the link down below for his channel, or if you're watching on your desktop, go to the home page of this channel. You'll see Channel Donstar, big old picture of Roger's face. Now, Roger has a series on his channel called I'm Calling You Out. Or I'm Calling You Out, Damn It. And I really like this idea. It's basically where he picks someone that he watches frequently on YouTube, and he literally just picks 5 random questions and asks them, and hopes that these people will respond with a video of their own and with their best of their ability. And he chose me last Saturday because I did say I was a fan of this series. And it's a cool way for you to, like, if you subscribe to Roger's channel, a cool way for you to find out about other YouTubers. And I found a couple that he's called out in the last few weeks that I've really liked. So, he called me out, he gave me 5 questions, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. Oh, speaking of, first thing, Roger, if you've noticed, I have moved the comma in my name. It now is Hey Internet, comma, Eric here, because you made a comment about that earlier, or in the calling out video. The reason why, you might not remember, the reason why the comma was after Hey was actually because you did a Sunday shout-out for my channel. I don't remember the last time you did Sunday shout-outs, but you messaged me and asked me if I could move the comma to after the hey, because when you uploaded your graphic or thumbnail or whatever you would call it, kind of messed up, and that's where you put the comma. So I went through all that trouble trying to switch my name, because Google wouldn't allow switching names within a certain amount of time. So I did that, and then now you point out that the comma's in the wrong place. So now it's fixed. It's now Hey Internet, comma, Eric here. It doesn't matter. People always get my channel name wrong anyways. They always say it's Hey Internet, it's Eric. Anyways, first question good old Roger D asked, what's the earliest recollection of ever seeing a movie, and what's the first movie you remember seeing as a child? Okay, I don't know the years that these movies came out, so you're going to have to do your own research. Earliest recollection I remember seeing a movie in theater was either Beetlejuice, which is a wonderful favorite of mine. I went with my parents. Don't remember if I knew anything about the film going in, but I ended up fucking loving it, and it's now one of my all-time favorite movies. Big Top Pee-wee. Let's just say there's something about Chris Christopherson playing the ringleader of a circus that blows into town and lands on Pee Wee Herman's farm. I just love that concept. So it was either that, it was either Beetlejuice, or it was either Care Bears 2: The Next Generation. Now, you're probably wondering why the fuck I went to go see the Care Bears movie, being a boy. I believe my mom wanted a girl, and she got a boy, and she used me as an excuse to go see all these kiddie movies that were for girls. Trust me, because she used to keep my hair very fucking long, and there was an incident where one time, I guess she told me this, she was pushing me in the stroller or something like that, and my hair's fucking long. My mom was a fucking hippie. And somebody walked by and said, oh, what a cute little girl you have. And she said, he's a boy, his name is Eric. Well, if you didn't keep my fucking hair long, maybe people wouldn't think I was a girl. But that makes me also think that you wished I was a girl, because then it wouldn't look so weird taking your little son to Care Bears 2: The Next Generation. Okay, so that was in theaters. Now, I'll use something. I'll use home video, and by home video I mean taping off of TV onto a VHS and watching religiously. Because I don't remember if I saw these before I saw the movies in theaters. One of them was, once again, Pee Wee Herman. It was Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I remember watching this all the fucking time. Probably at least once a week with my cousins. Always rewinding to the Large Marge part and just fucking loving it. Again, another Tim Burton film. It was either that or, once again with my mom, Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. I mentioned it in my Rainbow Bright commentary, the cartoon commentaries, that I watched the fuck out of that video. I don't know why. I think I just liked it. And I don't give a shit what people think. It was a good fucking cartoon back then, and I watched the hell out of that VHS tape. So yeah. Earliest recollection of seeing, fuck you, don't judge me. Rainbow Bright, the Star Stealer is a good movie. Earliest recollection of ever seeing a movie, or remember seeing it as a child, in theaters, Beetlejuice, Big Top Pee-wee, or Care Bears 2, The Next Generation, when seen on VHS, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, or Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. Deal with it. Okay, number 2. What's the worst television show that you despise? Now, I'm thinking this means I can't pick shows like I used to watch for some fucking reason when I was a kid, but now I hate. Like Saved by the Bell. Fuck that show. I cannot stand that show now, but I watched the hell out of it as a kid. Loved it. Any of those TGIF shows like Family Matters, any of that crap. So I'm not going to pick that. But I will pick, I couldn't think of one. So my wife helped me with this one. She suggested, and my mom, again, watched the fucking hell out of the show. The Facts of Life. What young boy. And I still hate it to this fucking day. I will not watch that show. If it's on, I'll sing the theme song, let it get stuck on my head, and leave the fucking room. What young boy wants to watch a show about 4 chicks and their old lady housekeeper try to solve life's problems? When I got older, of course, Joe was hot. But, you know what, I fucking hate that show. My mom used to watch it religiously, and I just remember absolutely hating it. Now, I got 2 other choices that I came up without my wife's help. King of the Hill. This show is immensely popular, and I don't fucking understand why. The only reason why I was stuck watching it, because I was either eating dinner, with family, because we still ate dinner in the living room, TV trays, or I was just too fucking lazy to turn the channel because it was in between The Simpsons and Married with Children. Fuck this show. I don't get the appeal to King of the Hill. I don't like any of the characters. People think Boomhauer's funny. I don't find Boomhauer funny. I've never found Hank Hill's character likable. I don't find anything he says remotely funny. All the characters are annoying. Bobby, I want to punch in the fucking face. I hate Hank's wife. Dale Gribble is okay for some of it, but then I just realized he's fucking dumb too. I maybe like the hateful, semi-racist Asian neighbors, but I might like them because they also hate Hank Hill, and I never got the appeal to King of the Hill. Absolutely hate that fucking show. Hate it. And then a recent one that came to Netflix. My wife was sick for a week. She binge watched the fucker. Fuller House. I was young when Full House was on TV, alright? And it was like the start of the TGIF block, which went on to like Boy Meets World, Perfect Strangers. Shows that were decent, step by step. But Full House was garbage. Didn't realize it then, I realize it now. But I'm not going to pick Full House because Jesus. Like I said, if I watched it as a kid, but I hate it now, I'm not going to count it. Fuller House. The semi-sequel reboot to the garbage shit that was on in the 90s. My wife was sick for like a week, I said, and she loved Full House. She grew up on it. She's only a couple years older than me. And I sat there and I watched 2 episodes with her. One was semi-tolerable. And then there was the second episode, and I was yelling at that goddamn TV the whole fucking time. There's no way a kid is this smart. There's no way a kid knows to talk like that. There's no way these adults are that retarded. And I don't know if they were poking fun at how the original show was in the 90s, but I don't give a shit because they weren't doing it in a funny way. So fuck that show too. What's the worst television show that you despise? Facts of Life, King of the Hill, Fuller House. Number 3. If you could wake up in the body of someone else tomorrow morning, who would you choose? And you know, this was a tough one. Because I don't really want to pick a celebrity because I love my privacy. I don't want fucking people taking my pictures all the time or recognizing me when, I walk down the street, this and that. So I thought, okay, then who the fuck do I pick? I mean, I was thinking, do I pick like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, one of the two, or say Weird Al Yankovic? Because their creativity is fantastic. But Roger mentioned in when asking this, I'd have to live their life as in one day. And from what I've seen in like interviews and stuff, I mean they're goofy, woo. They seem so laid back, so I'm just thinking, they'd be kind of boring. They would probably behind the scenes not like that. They'd be more chill and stuff like that. So who I decided to pick, and I'll explain why. I'm going to pick the now retired WWE wrestler, The Undertaker. And here's why. I'm a huge, huge Undertaker fan. He recently said, supposedly retired at this past WrestleMania. I've been a huge fan of him since 1991. I could go on and on. All the shit I've watched him, the feuds and this and that, knowing all about The Undertaker. And here's why I would pick him. The Undertaker is probably the last of a dying breed, quote unquote, of wrestlers that still believed in the old school way. They didn't break character ever. You didn't know the person behind the character. I mean, now everyone knows wrestling is fixed. The outcomes are fixed. It's sports entertainment, which is now what it's called. Everyone's playing a character on television. And now with, the media the way there is with social media and all their television shows, you see the people for who they really are. Shoot interviews, all that stuff. Except The Undertaker. The Undertaker hardly ever gives interviews out of character. The Undertaker has never given a shoot interview, which is where they speak out of character about the life they lived. All the best of videos of The Undertaker, he's never there. He doesn't use social media. So no Facebook, no Twitter, none of that. He doesn't do podcasts. He's a mystery. You don't know the man behind the character. And that intrigues me, just being a fan of him. But that intrigues me. I would like to see how that man lives his life. There's only little tidbits that you know. I mean, just recently now, he's somewhat coming out of his character. He's retired, but on social media, he'll be like on his wife's Twitter, and you'll see pictures of him like fishing with his son, or playing with his daughter. There was one where there was the ice bucket challenge, and he did the ice bucket challenge, but he made sure that he was in the dark and you couldn't see him. I would like to live one day. Well, Roger actually didn't give. I don't think he gave a time frame. It's just you wake up the next day as a person, and you live the life of that person. I wanted to see the man behind the character, the man behind the mystery, and learn about him because he's such an enigma. He's one of the most respected people behind the scenes, but we don't really know a lot about the man behind the scenes. So, who would I, if I could wake up in the body of someone else tomorrow morning, who would I choose? I'd choose The Undertaker, WWE wrestler. And side note, I don't like being John Malkovich. Didn't like that movie at all. Okay. Number 4. If I won $1 million or $1 million plus lottery, what would I do responsibly? And what would I do just throwing my money away? Well, responsibly, A, I'd make sure the check cleared before I quit my fucking job. Then I would put everything in the bank. I would probably buy a house in the middle of fucking nowhere because I don't like people. And I would live my life with my family, and that's it. I would stay away from everybody. I would probably... So, then, I'd pay off all my credit card debt and, car insurance and pay for my kids' schooling and all that shit. So, responsible stuff would be buy a house, probably get a second car, pay off all debt. That would be responsibly. Now, just throwing money away, it'd be the shit that I would do to the house. Because I don't like to travel. Again, I'm a hermit. I'm an introvert. The more you get to know about me, it's going to be through YouTube because I don't have to leave my fucking house. I would just build this nice, wonderful house in the middle of nowhere. I would have huge-ass fucking basement, which I can turn into like a game room or a media room, nothing but movies and televisions, just stuff to have people over, and have fun, pool tables, arcade games, classic arcade games. I would want that. I would buy a wonderful house where I don't ever have to see anyone, ever. If they wanted to come visit me, come right the fuck over and we'd have a party. But I would probably, responsibly, what do I say? So if I won $1 million or plus lottery, what would I do responsibly or frivolously? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Pay off all debt. Buy a house. Throwing money away, I would make it a party house. I would make it a fun house. I would make it a house that people would want to come over and have fun with, but I wouldn't have to leave. And I wouldn't quit my job either because I'd be bored and I need something to fucking do. Plus, money disappears after a while. So that's how I would do that. All right. Number 5. Final question. What is the oddest or weirdest experience that I have ever seen or experienced in my life? What have I seen that I could never forget? I've got a few of these. I've got a couple that I've already explained on my channel. So, if you're new to my channel, I will tell you what videos they are. But I will give a brief summary of them. Number 1 out of those, and then I got a couple that I haven't mentioned yet. Okay, first one of those. It's in my playlist. These two are both in my Master Shit Theater playlist, which is basically me explaining stories of things that happened to me in my life. First one, I recently suffered with kidney stones, and I had a stent put in to keep the urine flow, blah, 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 so I wouldn't be in the fucking hospital. More than I was. This experience, the removal of the stent. What a stent is, it's a giant tube that was inserted through my penis, went up to my kidney, my urinal tube, which comes from your kidney, blown up like a balloon so urine can pass through. I passed the kidney stone, and then this is when the doctor was going to pull it out. And literally, he just pulls the fucker out. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm in the doctor's office, and I'm holding my dick in my hand, and he's got a hold of the little string that's coming out of my pee hole, and it's this little fucking thin thing. And he pulls it, and that little string goes from a skinny string to a big fucking white tube to a little skinny blue tube, and he just holds it up like that, throws it in the fucking trash. Goddamn, that was weird. First off, it felt like I was like pissing out. The feeling you get when your foot falls asleep. That makes any goddamn sense. So, that's one. I go into more detail in one of those videos. Second one that is also in my Master Shit Theater video or playlist is where I met Vampire Jesus. I go into more detail in that video, but I will say this. I was at a restaurant with my wife, and we met up with two buddies, or we saw two buddies from high school we went to high school with, and we sat at their table. And we're just bullshitting, you know. And I see the two, you know, the people we were with were sitting across from us, and they were facing the door. And then suddenly their eyes get real wide, and we're like, what the fuck are you looking at? So we turn around, and this was back when, like, Vampire the Masquerade and goth was still big and all that shit. A couple goth kids walk in. And there's this other fucker who's in this white robe. What the fuck fell on the floor? He's this white robe, full fucking Jesus beard, and he looks like he's floating down the fucking aisle. I mean, you don't see his fucking legs move because he got a fucking robe. And we look and we're like, what the fuck's going on? We see he's on rollerblades, but where we were sitting, we couldn't see his feet, so it looked like the fucker was floating. And we go back to eating our food and, you know, waiting for the check. And then now our eyes are getting big, and our buddies are wondering, what are we looking at? They turn around, and fucking Jesus is biting this girl on the neck like, you know, a fucking vampire, just chomping on it. So they're doing their cosplay right in the middle of the fucking restaurant. One of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen. That's what you get when you live in a fucking college town. Okay, so those are two stories that I have mentioned before on my channel. Here's a couple weird things that I'll talk about that I've never mentioned on my channel. Nothing special. Well, I don't mean nothing special with this one because my wife had to have an emergency C-section with our daughter. And I'm in the room with her, and they have the area, let's just say area blocked off where the doctor is doing the surgery to pull her out and everything, pull the baby out. Everything. I can't see anything. And I'm there talking to my wife and, you know, making sure she's feeling okay and this and that. And I don't want to see anything gross. I think I would freak out if I looked over and I saw, you know, the doctor holding my wife's intestines and all that shit. So I'm like, at least I don't see any gore. At least I don't see my wife cut open. I'm glad I don't see my wife cut open. I'm glad I don't see my wife cut open. And what do? My wife's laying down like her head's here. You know, I'm on her left side, and then there's her head, you know, on the table. And I look on her right, and there's this big, clear fucking bucket that is, while they're doing the procedure, slowly filling with blood. And it's all the blood that they're sucking out when they're doing this fucking C-section procedure. And I just about lost it. I'm like, wow, I want to avoid seeing my wife cut open, so I'm looking this way just in case. And what do? See a fucking bucket of blood starting to lift, you know, filling up. Never forget that. And here's what I just remembered. Childhood, me and my friends are at the fucking park, and, you know, being babysat during the day, and I don't want to be with these kids because they're fucking assholes. So we're at the park, and I see what I think is my mom's car drive past. And I tell these kids later, see you later, I'm going home, because I think my mom's here to pick us up. But my mom's driving past the park, so I think maybe she's just going to the babysitter's house. I'm running, and for a fat kid, you know, it's tough to run. So I'm running all the way down to the end of the park. It's a good 50 yards. I don't know. It could have been more. It could have been less. Like I said, fat kid. And the car finally pulls over and stops. And when I get there, getting ready to just get in this fucking car and go home, there's some weird old lady that I've never seen before in my fucking life. So that's one of the things that just popped into my head. So I had to turn around, do the walk of shame back to these asshole kids that I didn't want to be with after making this old lady wonder why this little fat kid is chugging along, yelling at the car. So, what is the oddest or weirdest experience that I've ever seen or experienced in my life? What have I seen that I can never forget? Vampire Jesus. Stent getting pulled out of my dick hole. What did I say? Bucket of my wife's blood getting filled up during a C-section. And then chasing down the old lady that I thought was my mom. Yeah. So, what am I at? 25 minutes. Fuck me, man. So there you go. I've been called out. I answered you, Roger. Hopefully I gave you something interesting that you didn't know about me. I still have 2 more fucking tags I gotta do. I got that TV tag, and I got the old or original versus remake tag I gotta do, which I'll do someday. I'll do them soon. I still have to do my review of Inner Space for you. But, you kind of looked at me and you did the, trying to remind me that I have to do these. I do remember telling you when we first became buddies that you owe me reviews of Poltergeist and Pet Sematary, which I still haven't gotten. So I know you got to be in the right mood to watch those movies, but you owe me those too, buddy boy. So yeah, Roger called me out. I answered. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check out Roger's channel. Give him a sub. Watch his stuff. And I'm going to, and I'm supposed to call out somebody in a future video, which I will do. I'm not going to say his YouTube channel here. I'll do that in another video when I think of the questions. Roger and I know him as Zach. So Roger, if you want to wait a little bit to call him out, if you plan on doing it, that's fine. But I plan on calling him out. So, and I'll say his channel in the video that I upload. But anyways, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Go check out Roger's channel. Check out my older videos. Cheers. And make sure that car you're chasing is who you want to be chasing and not some random old lady.